Alright, yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the video, Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. My name is Ventus, and what's going on, man? Welcome back. I haven't talked to you guys in a while. So for this video, I'm just gonna talk about something that I kind of want to talk about a while ago, but I got sidetracked by some other things. I'm just showing you the build that I'm running with right now for my pistols. I've got Power Field Shot 3, Guard Field Shot 4, Viral Shot 4, and then Human Fortress 1. And then over on my sword, I've got Horizontal Square 4, Cyclone 3, Cyclone 4, and Azure Tempest. And then for my equipment, I'm going to be using the Dojikiri Yatsutsuna F9 Kai. This is the sword that has higher crit rate rather than lower damage. And the other sword that I have equipped on this build is the Kagemitsu G9 Type Z. And the Kagemitsu G9 Type Z, I think it has... yeah, it has higher crit damage but lower crit rate. So, I don't know. You decide. Let me know in the comments, like, which do you prefer, crit rate or crit damage? I think you don't have any crit rate, you won't be doing any crit damage, right? So, alright, so the topic I wanted to bring up with this one is episodes of Sword Art Online in the first season that you wanted to see, but we just didn't get a chance to see because they didn't include it. And the episode that always kind of bugged me, and let me know in the comments before I tell you mine, like, tell me what your episode is, like your perfect episode of SAO that you wanted to see that they just didn't give to us, right? So my perfect episode would have been an episode where they show how Kirito kind of lucked up, because I feel like he kind of lucked up, how he lucked up and discovered the dual wield sword skill. Like, I feel like realistically how it might have probably happened was like he was selecting his skills, because they didn't really go into like the whole thing of selecting skills. They talked about selecting skills like once or twice in the anime. I think Asuna talked about her cooking skill at one point in time. They talked about tracking skills or whatnot. So I think it was probably like some weird combination that he selected, like a combination of like I don't know, maybe a combination of like knife skills that we never get to see him use, where he had dual wield knifing, and then maybe at some point in time he was able to like cross class over into sword skills when he realized he didn't want a knife anymore, and then there was like some extra option to like add in the dual wield from the... was this thing dead already? Like, I just sort of imagine like the skill like selection in actual Sword Art Online is something like it is in the video games that we play. How he has a number of skill points every time he levels up and whatnot like that. Like, I don't even think they showed it. I might be wrong because it's been a while since I actually sat down and just looked at SAO, but they don't actually show him like leveling up, do they? They show his level, but they don't actually show him like fighting a boss and leveling up. I think at some point in time he might have fought a boss, and I think he got like a reward of the black coat, and that's when he was like, I'm a beater. And then like as his reward he got the coat, but I don't think they showed like the amount of experience that he got from that specific fight. And I would love to have seen the experience that he got from the fight, and then him just selecting his things. Like, I assume if you're in a world like SAO, that it's not like a video game, right? I mean, it is a video game, but I think that it's probably a situation that when you're inside this virtual world, you wait until you're at home at night. Like, specifically talking about Sword Art Online, where they're stuck inside the game world. Like, I think that maybe it'll be like a situation where, a scenario where he goes to his, wherever he's sleeping for the time. Maybe he rented a hotel room or a motel room or some sort of inn or something like that, like you do in most RPG games. He's at this inn, and that's when he's going over his skill points. It's like, I don't know, maybe like going over taxes or something in the real world. He's looking at how many skill points he has and what skills he could probably buy, and then maybe there's like a giant skill tree, right? Like, you've ever played, what was it, Final Fantasy 10 or Final Fantasy, was it 9, 10, 11? I don't know. It was one Final Fantasy with the chick with the black dress, the black leather skirt, and she carried around a little doll. It's the one with Titus. Yeah, that's the first like Final Fantasy, I think, where they introduced like gigantic skill trees like that. And honestly, I didn't like the whole, like, the only magic system I like for Final Fantasy is like the materia system. And they kind of like tried to change it a little bit in Final Fantasy VII Remake, where they gave you like skill trees or whatever like that. But I think that probably in SAO it's something like that, and it's probably a vast skill tree. There's one SAO game that I have that I played that if I would have played it when it was new, it probably would have been a great game. It was I can't remember the name of it, man. It's one of these, not Lost Song. It's one of them. But anyways, you get to choose from all of these different types of weapon skills, right? They have huge skill trees and all the different like weapon arts that you can do. And I just think that it'll probably be something like that. But I think that would be a really cool episode to see him actually discover the dual wield skill, because he had to have like discovered it at some point in time, right? He had to have discovered it, and he had to have like used it to perfect it. because I don't think with a skill like that, the way that he was using it in the anime, it's not something that you use for the first time and it's just like you're perfect with it. It felt like I kind of got the feeling that when he was using it, he had to time it just right, because I do recall, and I might be wrong, some SAO like Gosu in the chat, because it happened to me last time, they might be like, no, you're wrong, that didn't happen, it went like this. It's been a while since I actually watched that first season, but I just I think it would be really cool to see that. That's all I'm trying to say. Alright, so let me oh, is this guy about to die? So let me hit up with my sword art. Oh wow, I actually kind of tracked onto him. How much damage is this gonna do? Oh, it took down, oh wow, that took a lot, didn't it? That's cool. And also, too, I would like to see Asuna do that. Like, I haven't seen, like, the new, like, progressive movie. I'm not even sure if it's out. I think it's out. I haven't seen it yet. But I feel like they probably go into detail on that a little bit more, showing the weapon skills and stuff like that. So that's an episode that I would like to see. Another episode that I would like to see for SAO, especially with that first, like, the first season. I don't know, man. I felt like when I was watching the first season, I thought the first season was amazing. And I felt like the fights were pretty good too. However, upon like closer inspection of the fights, we didn't really get to see a whole lot of like choreography, right? So I think an episode where there is a lot of sword choreography, a lot of fighting, like I'm talking like Naruto level choreography, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how taijutsu fights with Naruto are, they animate every single thing, every frame is just there. And I think that with the SAO game that they played in the show, the fights rather, is what I mean to say, the fights, they just weren't that well choreographed. I'm not saying the fights were bad, but I wanted to see more. Like, whenever he fights a boss, I wanted to see more of that. I wouldn't have even been pissed if we would have had, like, whole, like, filler episodes that weren't really filler episodes. You know what I mean? Like, why is it that filler episodes have to be a bunch of boring talking? You know what I mean? Like, why can't we get filler episodes that are full with combat? I would not have minded. Like, the episode where he fought those laughing coffin guys, when they were, like, trying to attack him and he didn't, like, take any damage for him. I felt like that was like a filler episode, right? But it was a good episode. It was a great episode. It wasn't like super, oh man, I missed that. That sucks. That's tough. I wanted to see more of him just fighting. Because, and then you know what else too, like, disappointed me, like, in the very beginning of Sword Art, which is the reason why I, like, started watching the anime in the first place. It was because it was called Sword Art Online. I really assumed that there were going to be, like, different swords that he used. Like, every other episode, he was going to have, like, a different sword. Oh, I got to put my thing on because I just got whatever by him. Yeah, I thought he was going to use different swords. I would like to have seen episodes of Kirito just using a bunch of different weapons. A bunch of different swords. Not just weapons, just a bunch of different swords. Because Sword Art Online, I'm thinking, like, he's going to use some great swords that have really weird designs. He's going to use some one-handed swords that have some really weird designs. Some katanas that have really weird designs. Just weird-looking weapons. And I would like to have seen, like, episodes like that, where he just gets a bunch of different weapons. Like, I think there was one episode where he got, like, some super, like, Excalibur sword, I think. It was, like, the fairy season. And it was too, like, big for him to use, too heavy for him to use or something. Like, he didn't have the ranks to use it or whatever. And I was like, that's a missed opportunity. And then they came back and I think they rectified that in Alicization. Whenever he had that blue ice sword, he couldn't use it at first, and then, you know, he picked it up and he started to get better with it or whatever like that. So I think I would have liked to have seen something like that. Alright, so I've been talking long enough. Let me know in the comments what episode you would have liked to see from Sword Art Online, specifically on Season 1.